Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, everyone. We are outside.
If you're joining us on video,
yes.
We're outside. And if you're listening on the podcast, you can probably hear we are outside.
If the wind sounds like it's blowing into the microphones, ooh, it is.
Look at this right now.
It is. It's blowing.
Ooh, it's so
getting
fun.
crazier. We are getting the spirits to come join our show today because today is a special episode because it is our Halloween episode.
The Halloween episode.
Yay. It's going to be so exciting.
So, yes, today we're going to be covering different spooky cases, right? We're going to be doing some stories, some personal.
We have a lot of different stories that we've had some different listeners and friends submit to us.
Bring in.
Yes, we have some featured stories to share with you guys. And today we are in a special location, as you can see. We are in Mellon Park in Pittsburgh, PA.
So beautiful,
it's so
nice.
Beautiful. The sun is shining right down on us.
Giving autumn vibes, even though I'm wearing a t-shirt and shorts.
It's 70 degrees outside.
It's 74. 74. I'm gonna die.
It's too hot. So it's hot out. It's warm out for a happy Halloween time.
Yeah, but I'm excited. It's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I'm excited to go into this. I love when we do the short little stories.
I know.
It's gonna be super fun.
I like it even more knowing that it was submitted by people we know, because I feel like I was able to also talk to people, so I was able to get a little more information. So I have a deeper knowledge.
Exactly.
So I'm like, I want to know more.
And this is good promo if you're a fan as well, that you can send us your scary stories on our Instagram at the Mystery Files _. This isn't the last time we're gonna ever be doing this. Maybe we'll do another one if you guys send us enough little spooky story times.
Yeah, send us more of your stories so you can be featured on the show.
Yes.
But today we are going to slowly get into it. So
I'm excited.
We are first going to talk about the space that we are in, Mellon Park, and we are going to be talking about the Mellon House specifically and its haunting. So it's just a tiny little bite-sized little
It's a haunted
Halloween.
Watermelon, actually.
It's actually a bite-sized watermelon haunting.
A cantaloupe!
Oh, it's like the little watermelon things on Gravity Falls.
Yes, Summerween.
Summerween. But this time it's for real. So, the Mellon House haunting. The Mellon House is the estate of Andrew Mellon himself, and his portrait still hangs in the entrance today. It's been reported that Mellon trips anyone who forgets to say hi as they pass by.
That's funny.
I know, we said, you're not saying hello to me, you can get out of my house.
That's what if he throws banana peels down?
He said, slip,
whoa.
stupid. Whoa, slip, little dummy, say hi in my house.
That'd be good.
So he does that as people pass by if they don't say hello to him. His presence is found downstairs as well. So now a boardroom and broadcast studio. The space used to be a bowling alley and indoor pool. So this place has a lot of stuff inside of it.
We should have shot there if it has a broadcast studio.
How do we get it?
Dang, if we would have done it sooner, we could have emailed them hey.
We go, hey,
they probably would have said no.
I don't know if it's open to the public. We can probably walk past it, but that's about it.
We changed halfway through. We're filming there now.
Suddenly we're there. No, we're not. I'm not leaving. But they had a lot of different stuff inside this space, and creepily, there's a tunnel that still leads into the pool under the boardroom floor. So students of Chatham, I believe, claim to smell the cigar smoke and conversations of Mellon and his dear friend Henry Clay Frick, along with the resetting of bowling pins. So people are hearing a lot of different sounds.
Wait, they're hearing them bowling right now? They're hanging out still?
People have heard the resetting of bowling pins.
That's crazy.
I know. And then imagine smelling cigar smoke of these two rich old white guys.
Can you imagine you're walking through the park at night, maybe you're a little depressed, you had a rough day, and you just hear spare.
It's Wii bowling.
Yeah. Just go.
Do it. Oh man, this is a whole different thing. You can actually stand up.
I know. I can do little bits.
You can do little bits now.
I did the Wii bowling moment for everybody.
We can insert the sounds.
Audio.
We'll insert the sound so you can just get the visual cue there.
Good.
Poor. So, in fact, this person's husband who wrote this little thing says her husband worked at Chatham and swears that he heard these conversations. So we heard these guys talking to each other. So talk about something disrupting your workday. You have all these people just chit-chatting, smoking cigars, playing bowling.
Yeah.
You hear all these different sounds while you're working at Chatham.
That's crazy.
There's also a lot of different places at Chatham that I've heard that are haunted.
Really?
So if we could sneak into Chatham one day, or if a nice fellow Chatham little person who goes there wants to give us a little tour of all your haunted spaces, let us know.
I've snuck into CMU a few times, like, just
you
for
can say that louder, I'm sure.
I just was like, for fun, you know? I like walked in behind a bunch of other students. I was like, oh, I'm at the cafe.
I said, suddenly I go here. That's so crazy. Wait, I remember why you were there. But we'll talk. Wait, that was Duquesne.
Oh, that was Duquesne. Yes, that was something else.
No comment.
I've broken into quite a few college universities,
You're just a busy
actually.
little guy.
Busy's one word for it.
Busy. So, yeah, basically Chatham's just a very haunted place. And this little space is included among their small haunted journey. This place isn't as haunted as those places, but we're going to bring the spirits with us so they can come tell our stories today.
That's cool. Maybe they'll come hang out.
They'll come hang out.
I should tell them what happened to me right before.
What happened?
With the bunny.
Oh, yeah.
So I went to go throw away some stuff for us before we started filming, and I heard rattling in like these bushes, and I got really scared.
No.
And then a bunny just like jumped out and ran past me, and I screamed like a little girl.
It was actually haunted.
It was a little scary because this park is beautiful, but it does give a little bit of spooky vibes.
We're gonna get possessed.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Speaking of possession, I know I've talked so many times on this show about Sam and Colby. But they recently posted a new haunted video, and I'm pretty sure Colby got possessed.
What?
You have to watch it.
It's
like crazy. He had to get like a cleansing and stuff done to him.
Oh my god.
It was like bad.
And cleansing?
He went in this basement that had like demons in it, and then he got real scary looking. And
when are we gonna do that?
He looked like a different person. I don't want to get possessed.
Have you seen Late Night with the Devil yet?
No.
You need to watch these scary movies.
You keep naming off stuff.
Late Night with the Devil, Woman of the Hour, with Anna Kendrick.
Oh, I haven't seen it, but I've seen that it's on Netflix.
It's good. I watched both of them yesterday.
Oh,
Great,
fun.
thanks. But Late Night with the Devil is just like a late night talk show where like this girl gets possessed by the devil during the show, and it's like
fun.
It's so creepy. It's so weird. The universe is mad about it.
The leaves are coming down. Oh, one fell in front of the camera. I'll have to watch that. I didn't realize that was the premise. I knew it was like talk show, but I didn't know like what happened.
It's good, and it's filmed like a talk show the entire time.
Fun.
Like it's not like cut. Like it's like looks like it's like a missing tape or something like that.
Ooh,
very fun.
I love that.
Yes.
Well, we're about to get into some of our funky little haunted stories.
Yes.
So, if you've submitted a story, listen out because you're gonna have your little story. So
you're up to bat.
Here we go.
So first up, we have a story from Lexi. So, she says, one time when I was 15 or 16, I was in my basement alone, and I had my phone plugged into an aux cord playing music. I had it sitting on the table, and it just shot across the room.
Pardon you?
That's crazy.
Not your phone.
Wait, the phone just went...
It was like plugged into the aux, and it just like flew across
How does that happen?
I don't know.
With full force, my phone shot to the other side of the room by maybe like 15 feet. So hard the aux pulled out of my phone and my case broke.
Girl, you
That's
better
crazy.
get some help. Your case breaking is actually really concerning. The fact that it flew and your case broke, it's like almost like physical proof that it happened.
I would already be mad that my phone fell, but then if like my case broke too, that would be like the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I would only really like it because then I can show people what actually happened, you know? Like,
oh my God.
I didn't break my case like the ghost did. You know?
Yeah, honestly, maybe Apple would cover that.
You should try, Lexi. I know you were 15 or 16 at the time, but I feel like you should try again.
Lexi, I know it's been like, what? How old is Lexi
years.
now?
She's like 23.
23.
Sorry,
That's
Lexi.
like 8 years. I don't know.
I don't know, math.
That's enough time. You can probably still go and they'll fix it.
If there's a warranty.
You can show them this video.
Yeah, it's enough.
And we'll be your case.
We will prove your case.
We'll testify in court for you.
Yes, you will.
But Lexi also said the next time she went back downstairs and plugged in her phone, it happened again. Like, so it wasn't the first time it happened to her.
Girl, don't go back in your basement.
Crazy.
No, that's so scary. The fact that spirit had that much energy to like pull your phone off.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be back in your basement. But like, also, is the rest of your house haunted like this?
Yeah, or is it just the basement?
That's a little sketch. I feel
basements
like
are weird.
Basements?
Basements, they're weird.
Basements are weird. I don't think I ever formally had a basement that wasn't for like laundry and like nothingness. Like,
oh my God.
What? What's your basement haunted?
I need to tell you a crazy story.
What?
I don't think I've ever told you about this before.
What?
But so when we moved into like one of our houses, I think a couple kids like broke into it like beforehand, and they like graffitied the basement.
Yeah.
And they put like satanic symbols and like rituals and stuff on the floor.
Logan.
So we had to like paint over it because it was spray paint. We couldn't just like wash it off. It was like in the ground there. So basements are known for being haunted. Basements and attics.
Logan, that literally sounds like an episode of The Haunting. That they literally.
It does, right?
Wait, so it wasn't actually. You didn't like feel anything when you lived there, or like sense anything that was there?
You know,
you're like now.
I don't know.
Now that I think about it,
I need to think about it a little bit more. I don't know if I did, but it was creepy. It was a weird.
Now that I think about it, I was possessed on the daily.
I remember I felt like it was really weird. I remember like my mom was like, "Kids, don't go in the basement," because she didn't want us to see it, and we were like, "Well, I'm not going to listen." So we,
actually,
like,
I want to see the satanic rituals happening.
Yeah, it was like a pentacle kind of like thing. Have I never told you about this?
I don't think so, Logan.
That
crazy. Explains so much.
Well, maybe I was possessed that day.
And that day,
it's just been like that.
You still are.
So Lexi, the best advice I could give you is possibly maybe there were satanic symbols on your basement floor and you didn't know about it. If it's rugged, if they're carpet, try to rip up your carpet at your home and see what's going on there.
I've never heard someone phrase it that way.
What?
You know, if it's rugged. Carpeted? I don't know if your basement's rugged or not. Like, I don't know, Lexi. Maybe your parents did paint over and get your basement rugged for you. I think that's the option. It got rugged.
So crazy.
But yeah, also I didn't realize this was going to be like a little session. It's like we tell them how to fix their problems.
Well, I just thought might as well.
I think that's half the fun. We were creating solutions to problems we don't understand.
something that happened to her 8 years ago.
Get a priest. Move. I don't know.
Take a box cutter. Look in. If you're listening at home, double check. Make sure you don't have any satanic
I think you need to rip up your basement rug. Personally.
Who cares what the repercussions are? Who cares if your parents, your landlord,
like eventually you're going to move out. So
exactly.
Like, it's your
break up
issue. With your parents?
No, your partner.
No. I was like, oh, okay. Do you? You can break up with your parents technically. I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, Lexi. I'm glad that it hasn't happened since. I don't know if you've gone back down there. Yeah, Lexi, I would say just move. I don't know. I don't have much to say to you. Good luck. But I guess our next story... Thank you for sharing, by the way, Lexi.
Thank you,
You're
Lexi.
a real one. You're a real one. Our next story is by Kate. My old roommate, Kate.
Oh, this is Kate.
Yeah. Hey,
okay, Kate. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Kate. So I'm going to try to read this in a Kate voice. So,
oh, boy.
I don't even know what that would be. When I was a tween, I visited Atlanta with my dad and stepmom. It has been on my bucket list to do a ghost tour in every state, and so we set one up in the city. It was one that had like radio frequency monitors and stuff, and we toured the whole city. Despite the fact they advertised it being official with good equipment, we all agreed when the tour was over that we thought it felt disingenuous and a little over the top.
That's fair.
Yeah, but that the sites we visited themselves definitely had odd energy that was super unsettling. When I got back to my room and showered, I felt a burning on my back. I got out and looked in the mirror and had 2 very large scratches against my back.
What?
They hadn't been there before the tour, and I hadn't fallen or anything. Upon reading reviews of the tour, I was not the only person who had been left with physical marks.
What?
Kate, you're kidding me. No.
That's crazy.
Stuff with scratches, girl, that's demonic. I know it was only 2. Usually you see like 3 scratches for like demonic energies.
Yeah.
But like anything scratching you.
That anything like feeling like it's burning too, or like your body's on fire? Absolutely not.
That's so scary.
That's crazy.
Well,
I feel like I like that she brought up that like it felt
like the tour itself
disingenuous.
Like
yeah. That's the one thing I hate. I think that's why my family, we never do like ghost tours. Like we just kind of like go ourselves and like do stuff because I've seen like on like a lot of like TV shows or things, like they'll have like equipment that's made to look like it's crazier than it actually is.
Ghost Adventures
and that show on Cartoon Network. Remember they had that weird ghost show when they did like CN live action?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Really?
On what? On
Cartoon Network.
I don't think I ever watched that.
Really?
I think I've watched Cartoon Network. I just don't think I know what show you're referring to.
Do you remember when they did the live action blocks? like Destroy, Build, Destroy.
Oh, yeah.
One of the segments was like their version of Ghost Adventures.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
See, when I was a kid, I loved it. I thought it was so good.
Yeah.
But I recently watched a video like about that era of television, and the person in the video clocked that the entire time like nothing synced up with what they were saying.
Yeah.
Like they said, like there was like one episode where their audio recording had a ghost say something that was like, "Getcha."
Oh my god.
Getcha or something, and it didn't line up with what we saw. Like
wow.
like they showed a clip of the sound waves on the computer to prove it,
and it just wasn't.
It didn't peak or anything.
Stop it. No, I feel like most of those shows, whenever they have like the audio and like they're like, listen really close to hear the next sound, and it's like, and you like barely hear anything, and it's like wear with headphones to get a better experience, and you still can't hear it.
I still can't hear it. Yeah,
No.
I'm like, well, it's not real then.
It's not real, and that's how I feel.
funny.
This is gonna be a controversial take,
Okay.
because I love this man,
Okay.
but like I don't hear the stuff that's in your videos. My guy Garrett Watts.
Oh,
I don't know if you. I mean, I know his is like half fun. But I've been watching, like, obviously when he puts out, like, new, like, haunting things. And, like, most of the time I don't hear these noises that he's finding. Like, he most recently went to that lighthouse.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, it's, like, new. But
Okay.
I'm not hearing the sounds, my guy.
Yeah.
But I love him. Shout out.
We need to do more on-site, like, haunting, like, investigation stuff. Because, tell me if I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to lie.
Yeah,
to our
I wouldn't
audience.
lie. I mean, I might be scared of everything, but I think that's a me problem.
Yeah, I would try to like freak you out a little bit, but like I wouldn't go, guys, did you hear that? And then it's just like you in a mask that's going.
Oh my gosh.
But
No.
on a more terrifying note, the scratches is crazy.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the scratches. That's crazy. No.
Hey, Kate, did you put Neosporin on those?
Yeah,
like, are
holy
you
water.
okay?
Holy water,
rubbed in with some Neosporin, exfoliate it.
I feel like they need to sell that by bulk.
That's
I think that could help a lot of
crazy.
people out, actually.
I think what you said is interesting. How it's 2 marks and not 3.
Yeah.
Like it's not the mark of the beast. It's like the mark of.
Like, unless
The
there
guy.
are the guy, just the dude. I feel like usually you hear like 3, but I don't know if 2 is also like the same situation. Like,
Yeah.
But it definitely doesn't sound right. Nothing should be hurting you, like physically able to like make contact. But wish you luck. Hope you're doing good since this situation. That's really scary.
And Kate, if you want to go on a little haunted adventure, let us know. We'll come with you.
Let us know. I
We'll
might
have a
be
little
really,
fun
really
time.
scared. I'm such a wimp in those situations. So, but I'll try my best.
Exactly.
I will try.
We on to the
Yes,
next one?
We're on to the next one.
Okay. So
Yay.
our next one, this one came right from Instagram, right?
Right from Instagram.
This is Instagram handle Grizzly's Dad.
Grizzly's dad.
Grizzly's dad.
Shout out.
Big fan, right?
Big fan. He's a big fan of the show. He sent us the sweetest little message.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right, let's get into it. I'm really not a superstitious or a super big believer as much as I would really want to be. This is genuinely one of maybe 2 instances where something has happened like this to me. This left me very frightened and unwell. So a few years back, I was living in an apartment with an ex-girlfriend. It was early morning and I was sleeping. I was having a dream, except it wasn't a dream. It was like a live feed of our bedroom at the time.
Ew.
Absolutely not.
That sounds like a simulation.
That's like astral projection.
Yeah,
like
astral
when you can like see
projection.
yourself sleeping in the other side of the
That's
room.
like a bunch of things like mixed together. It's
Oh
sounding
my
like.
god.
Ew.
That also reminds me of like Paranormal Activity. How like
Yeah,
they'll
when they have
the
like the
little
live feeds or like
Yeah.
cameras in their room. I
Uh-huh.
wish that whenever people have sleep paralysis situations, like they would have like recordings in their room to
Oh my
see
God, yeah.
like what it looks like from the perspective of like someone who is like awake, like watching.
Well, that's why I can't do those like those sleep progress things at night. Because like
Oh.
you'll hear like what you're saying and stuff. It's like I don't want to know.
Benjamin's always yapping, and then he like gets mad whenever I call him out. He'll be talking in his sleep, and I'm like, "What'd you say?" And he's like, "Shut up!" And I'm like, "You just talked in your sleep." Because I ask more questions, because I'm like, "Well, I want to mess with him."
It's true.
And then he gets annoyed because he's like, "I
What's
wasn't
going
talking
on?
in my sleep." I'm like, "You literally were." Just saying.
My god. So it was just like I was laying there fully awake, but at the time it was obvious for some reason that I wasn't. Definitely astral projection, by
Yeah,
the way.
or sleep
Definitely.
paralysis.
Sleep paralysis, that's what it's called. It's
Like
it's both of those. Like a sandwich version.
A little mix.
Everything was completely as it was in the room, except there was a sort of creature crouched directly on my partner's chest. That is literally a sleep paralysis demon.
That's real messed up.
That's literally a sleep paralysis demon, by the way. I don't want to scare you. I don't know if you still know your ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
You might want to tell her that's a sleep paralysis demon.
Yeah, hopefully you said something. I feel like you probably did.
That's
this is
crazy.
a few years back, but I'm like hoping this hasn't happened since.
What if I saw that happen to you and I just didn't tell you?
I'd be very mad at you. If it was on top of me or like, I'd be really mad.
Let's make swearsies to tell each other. Cool.
Teehee.
It was a man, but with a white silver face and gnarly looking teeth.
No.
Crouching with its knees to its chest, staring down at her. I can visualize this so
No, it's literally so
vividly.
visual. I'm like, this could be in a
Oh my
movie. It's so
God.
scary sounding.
It didn't move. It didn't make a sound. It just stared at her. I could feel that I was scared, but I couldn't move until it glanced over at me. That's crazy.
That is
it glanced
scary.
over at you? That reminds me of like a gargoyle or
No,
something.
for real, and it
Like
slowly turns and looks at you.
Oh my God. Absolutely not. Have you seen Agatha All Along? I think we talked about this. You haven't, right?
No.
Spoilers for Agatha All Along, but not really. There's an episode where they have a demon that looks exactly like that, but it's like
Ew.
up and like perched up on like this like wall and is like staring at them as like they're playing, I'm not kidding, like a
No.
Beatles-esque Fleetwood Mac song.
That's nasty. I keep hearing really
Crazy.
scary sounds, guys.
It's squirrels and bunnies, the ones that scared me earlier.
They're walking all around.
Girl, what if you just saw a squirrel actually?
What if it perched like a human? Like this thing?
All right, so my only response to this was to roll over in my bed. But when I did the thing, his face was right there as I turned. That's literally right out of a
Stop.
haunting.
I would not recover if it was that close to me.
These are the parts that I have never really understood or experienced since. It was genuinely like I was face to face with this thing. The details in its face, the warmth of something being there, the sense that you were staring at something alive, you know? This is when I woke up, and I had a physical reaction of hitting in front of me instinctively, which has also never happened before. So literally just like a fight or flight response.
Like just
Yeah.
hitting something.
That
Oh my
happens though. Like you'll have a
gosh.
night terror and you'll like wake up and like
Start hitting stuff.
Yeah,
start
fumble the
freaking
bed.
out. Oh my gosh.
So, this is the real kicker of the situation. The face of the thing stayed in my vision. Like when a camera flashes in your eyes and those orbs appear.
No.
That's crazy.
That's freaky.
The whole face, it slowly faded like someone had flashed it right in my eyes as I was wide awake. That's crazy.
That's so scary.
That's so crazy.
No,
Oh
if
my
I saw something
God.
like that, I don't know, like specific and it being that close to me, like right up in my face.
Yeah, for sure. Like don't love, but like I think it's crazy how vivid you saw like this creature and stuff. Like it's kind of like, I don't want to scare you. I'm so sorry. I don't want to. But that's really terrifying because I would feel like it imprinted on me. And that, you can't come back from that. a little bit.
Absolutely not.
It probably didn't though. It probably didn't.
I feel like it's been a couple years. You probably would have noticed
You're good.
signs already.
Yeah.
Like you're probably just fine.
Unless weird things keep happening. I'm just kidding.
Unless they're going to restart after you say
That's
it
crazy.
to us.
That's how I feel. I've talked about it so many times on the show before, but I feel like that gives me the same vibe of how icky I felt after Robert the Doll episode. Sorry, Robert.
Sorry, Robert.
That terrified me.
Like
I
after,
literally felt
like,
so
speaking it?
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine like what this dream felt like. That's crazy.
No, or like real life.
Oh my God.
Did you say it was like a dream life? But I'm like, I feel like sleep paralysis is like a hard line, or like
It's like between like we've talked about before. I think we
Sleep and
have a
wake.
sleep paralysis episode.
yeah, or we've talked a lot like sleep paralysis
It's
stories
like-
and things.
Yeah, it's like it's like between worlds kind of place. It's very weird.
Well, it's weird. You can be like so awake, like you are so aware of everything around you, but like
Yeah.
you can't do anything about it.
Also, I gotta say, like, this story, you are so good at storytelling.
Yeah, you, like,
This
set
is
up a nice story
really
here.
good.
Yeah,
Good climax. Good. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10
I
storytelling.
mean, I know it
about-
actually happened, but like
Yeah.
you phrased it like beautifully.
It sounded like terrifying. And wow.
Thank you, Grizzly's dad.
That's
You're a real one.
so crazy.
So
Wow.
scary. Be ready for the next one?
I am.
Okay, and I might read two because this next one's a little short.
That's
but
fine. Be greedy.
still packs a punch. So this one is from my good old pal Dylan. So he said that he had a friend who lived by these woods, and this friend believed that a witch lived inside these woods. And one day, this friend's dog had pulled like a dead deer out of the woods, and the deer was wearing his sister's sunglasses.
What?
Like, it's so odd because, like, what? Why? What? How did it get the sister's sunglasses? Or sister's glasses,
weird.
Like real glasses, not sunglasses. But, like, how did this deer...
Okay. Still, though.
This dead deer was wearing people glasses.
This just sounds crazy.
What?
That reminds me of that deer from Adventure Time. The one who, like, it takes off its things and it has hands.
Ew.
And it wears, like, glasses and reads books.
Aww.
It's kind of like that a little bit.
But, like, if it died.
That's crazy. A witch lived back in the woods is crazy.
Yeah, like his friend, like I guess his friend and like his family lived over there, and they believed that like a witch lived back in those woods.
That's crazy. I feel like that makes perfect sense a little bit because like what is it? I feel like especially like when you're a kid, I feel like my backyard would sometimes be really freaky. I don't know why. But just like around Halloween time too.
Around Halloween, exactly.
Oh my god.
But also I feel like this friend was like older, like not like super old, but like old enough that like this was like coherent to be like, yeah, that dead deer was wearing my sister's glasses. Like the sister had lost these glasses
like a while ago, I bet too, right? Oh my god,
it's so odd.
Like how was it wearing them? Like was it over the snout? Like not snout, what's that called?
No,
like the little
bridge of your nose.
I don't think they have noses though, do they? Well, they have noses, but they have different bridges, don't they?
Technically it's like barely even a bridge.
I guess the bridge is right.
Aw, that's really sad and cute.
That's crazy.
But yeah, that one was just like silly, like what the heck.
That's wild.
So thank you, Dylan. I'm never gonna get that visual out of my head, and I'll never stop wondering why the deer was wearing
Unfortunately,
those glasses.
you said sunglasses first, so now I'm visualing like party sunglasses,
like a cool
like pink.
deer.
Yeah,
a hip deer.
A cool deer.
A cool deer. So our next story is from Emily.
Emily.
Yeah, Emily's. We have 2 different stories Emily has submitted. So if you want to read the second one she submitted, I'll read the first one.
Sure, sounds good.
So this first one is about her aunt's house. So Emily said, when I was little, my aunt lived in this big house in the woods in North Carolina. I always felt kind of scared being in that house, especially when I would go in the basement.
I'm saying!
Basements be scary. I refused to go down there alone because I was so scared. Usually, my mom and I would sleep in my older cousin Damari's room. I would have such a hard time falling asleep because I felt so scared even with my mom there. I remember feeling scared to look in the corners of the room because it felt like something was watching me. Come to find out years later, after they had moved houses 2 different times. So Damari's told me that the house was haunted, and either her or her friend, I can't remember which one, was pushed down the stairs one time by this mysterious entity. So someone was literally pushed down the stairs by this ghost.
That's crazy.
That ain't right. So even more terrifying, my cousin Hugo, so Damari's older brother, told me that he had woken up with 3 big scratches across his back while living in that house. My aunt also admitted to me that she felt scared living in that house too, but never said anything more specific than that.
That's crazy.
So again with the scratches, this time it was 3, so that definitely...
That's Mark of Satan type vibes, unfortunately.
The demonic vibes.
That's crazy. And the basement stuff?
Yeah,
that's
getting
crazy.
pushed down the stairs.
Yeah.
Someone literally getting pushed down the stairs. That is so scary.
That's terrifying. That's
also,
so crazy.
Like, they're saying they moved, like, a couple times. I wonder if this, like, entity followed them then.
It reminds me of the Amityville stuff a little bit, right? Like, when they followed, like, the family around a little bit. Who was that? Oh, my God. The kid who kept, like, it kept following her? Or him? I don't remember.
I feel like it was Amityville. I don't remember.
I think it was Amityville.
But there's
That's
definitely
crazy.
been cases where, like, the spirit follows
Absolutely
the family.
Not.
That was also, like, in the Conjuring movie, I think. But the mom couldn't leave the house.
Oh, well.
But, yes, that mom was
that's
demonic.
crazy.
But that's really scary.
I love not love, but I need to stop using that word. I think it's crazy how your aunt admitted to you that she felt scared living in the house, but didn't say anything specific. Like, I wonder if, like, she maybe didn't even have any stories. I wonder if she just, like, felt a vibe.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's always that feeling when you enter a house sometimes. It just feels wrong, kind of.
Well, it makes sense because even you, Emily, you, like, picked up on, like, the haunted vibes.
Yeah.
So,
completely.
I don't know. You have, like, that sense.
Wow.
But I'm glad nothing happened to you, but it sucks for, like, your cousin and everything.
Hope your cousin's doing okay.
Yeah,
out
hopefully,
there.
like, the push down the stairs, they ended up being okay. That's really messed up.
Well, let's hope they fell down, like,
chill.
Comedically.
I don't know.
You know, like when I do it, like when I fall front facing, when I'm like,
Oh, I think that's backwards.
I don't know if we can, but we should put it on the Mystery Files TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
We should put that video of me from 531. I just posted our old address just now. You don't know where that is. You don't know where 531 is.
Yeah.
But when we were at 531 and I had the blanket and then I pretended to disappear and then I fell down the steps.
No, you have to post that.
That one was so
That's
good.
so good. No, that was literally the cousin.
That's what I'm picturing, because that's how I like to fall down steps
Personally, when I fall down the stairs. Well, this is making me think back when I lived in that farmhouse when I was younger. My mom used to fall down the basement stairs all the time.
It's always a farmhouse.
It's always a farmhouse. So I'm like kind of wondering. I wonder if my mom, when she would fall down those stairs, if she was getting pushed by something otherworldly.
Oh my God.
That would make sense. There's a chance. That house was scary.
Well, that goes back to the very first story you're talking about with like the melon house, like tripping people if you don't say hi. Mm-hmm. Like it's very like interesting.
Maybe
like,
they didn't like our family in that house, and they were like, "Get out of here!"
Absolutely.
Well, that was the same. I've talked about this before on the show, but I'm just gonna say back.
Was this back when you lived in like
the farmhouse?
When was that? Was that in?
That was like when I was a kid, like when,
Nebraska. Or?
No, it was in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
When I lived on the farm. That was the house that there would be times when I was home alone that I would hear my mom calling my name. I've mentioned it on the show before and told you, but I've heard my mom calling my name and I'd be like, "What?" and she wasn't there, but like it sounded exactly like her voice, to the point that like stuff like that is definitely like an echo of like something really scary.
This is off topic, but where was this farmhouse in PA? Like, was it near? Were you near Somerset still?
Yeah, like still around Somerset.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I think I've talked about before. I used to live at a farmhouse, the log cabin. Do you remember this?
I remember this.
And I used to have night terrors there, like all the time. I was only like 6 years old, and I had night terrors.
No, that's really scary. This was also the house that I mentioned before, where there was a time that Stephanie woke up screaming, and then everyone in the house started waking up screaming.
Oh my God.
So it was like really, really scary because it was like that guttural like instinct of like something is terribly wrong. So imagine your entire house in this farmhouse just starts screaming bloody murder in the middle of the night.
Well, you heard it here first. Don't move into a farmhouse.
Yeah, you're better off.
Emily, if you can, avoid going into any farmhouses.
Any farmhouse for anything.
Anything.
For
even if you're visiting
anything.
family, don't do it.
She's like, I actually live in a farmhouse. I go, well, no. Reconsider, Emily.
All right, we're on to
that's okay because she has a second one.
Yeah.
So
which this is fun because story 2 is about sleep paralysis. Ooh. So we're coming up with themes. We got overarching stories. Yes. We're an anthology.
We are. The Mystery Files.
The Mystery Files
podcast.
All right. So, ooh, this is recent.
Mm-hmm.
So. A couple of months ago, I was asleep in my bedroom. I live with my parents, and I kind of woke up for a second and saw a dark, shadowy figure standing and looking at the bookshelf that's next to my bed.
Oh.
At first, I thought it was my mom because she used to come in my room and borrow makeup and stuff. So I called out, "Mom," and nothing. The figure was still in the same place, staring at my bookshelf.
Oh.
I didn't think it was my dad because he never comes into my room, but it definitely wasn't my mom, and my makeup isn't even on my bookshelf. But still, I called out, "Dad?" And when I said that, the figure turned its head towards me, and I saw nothing but a big shadowy blob. And I remember feeling this intense fear, like truly terrified. And then I sat up really fast and there was nothing. But I was super freaked out by what I thought I just saw. So I didn't go back to sleep until the sun came up.
That's so scary.
That's crazy.
I also hate that thing like turned towards you after you asked Dad. What, is there a tick? Is there a bee? What is it?
It was a wasp.
Oh.
Sorry.
That's okay. But no, the fact that thing responded after you asked Dad kind of freaks me out. Because I'm like, why did it turn towards you and then just like...
Yeah,
no.
That just reminds me again of like the story I've talked about so many times on the podcast, but like the black top hat man with the shadowy figure I had, because that was my feeling of sleep paralysis. Mm-hmm. Yours was way more recent than the last time I had it, because the last time I had sleep paralysis like that, I think that was when I lived with you, sophomore year. So that's crazy.
That's horrifying. I have been much more scared to see sleep paralysis stuff because I've had more sleep paralysis in the last year than I've ever had.
Oh, really?
Like,
my God.
physically seeing shadow figures in my bedroom.
Oh my
God. I've told you about the Hagrid looking one. If you go back a couple episodes, I saw that Hagrid looking man with the chains standing at the end of the bed. And then I saw the 2 figures standing at the end of my bed.
That's crazy.
So I don't wish any of that sleep paralysis on anyone.
That's crazy.
That's really scary.
I can't imagine like going through that also though, because like I feel like it's so crazy to like call out like your mom or like your dad's name because you're like half awake, half not. So,
you're like,
not fully
who is
there.
in here?
Yeah, like what's happening to me? Ooh,
that's really scary.
that's so crazy.
Absolutely not.
Wow.
You ready for the next story? Thank you for sharing, Emily.
Thank you, Emily.
Hey. Okay. Do you want me to read the next one or do you want to read the next one?
You can read the next one.
This one is from Rachel. Shout out to Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
She's one of my coworkers.
You.
She's a sweetie. So she said, I was studying abroad and I was living on a campus that was an old TB hospital, so like tuberculosis hospital.
Okay.
And it was all open air with open windows to help with the breathing at that time, so people could have like fresh air ventilation and things like that. So it was a huge infirmary and had living quarters. And we lived in these quarters where in the hallways, the lights were on timers. And there was never any time to stop in the hallway to talk or you'd get stuck in the dark because like the lights would shut off.
Yeah.
So where my room was, it was a tower where the doctor stayed. And one night I woke up because I thought my roommate was pacing in my room. And it turned out it was a shadowy figure pacing in front of my bed down to the sink in my room. So she had a sink like further in her bedroom because it was like sort of like a dormitory vibe. I was noticing that this was a dude and he was all shadowy. So I decided to put my pillow and blanket over my head and turned around and hoped he'd go away soon. He was only there for a couple of minutes and then he had disappeared.
Oh my God.
So she had seen this figure and like her roommate was asleep, by the way. I had talked to her a little bit about this story and like her roommate was like fast asleep in the bedroom. And she like saw this like man pacing back and forth in the bedroom.
Oh my God.
She also like specified that this was in like the doctor's wing of the hospital and like had talked to people later who had told her that like this maybe could have been like a doctor that was like pacing thinking about like one of the patient's cases.
Okay,
like,
that's fair. Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
I feel like also this is so scary.
I guess like I could see it being a doctor because like the silhouette is probably very boxy and like shadow like with like the robes, not robes, what are they called? Like lab coats?
Yeah, like the little white lab coats.
Yeah. Ooh.
I feel like this also is just so interesting because I feel like this could lead into the idea that we've talked about before on the show where like sometimes there's like certain time loops that like ghosts get stuck in.
Yeah.
So like this doctor could just think that they are still alive, like helping people
and doing and like working on cases. Oh
yeah,
my
like
God,
this doctor is just like doing his job. Meanwhile, Rachel's there trying to sleep and seeing this man.
I think one of the coolest things about like this story, along with like all the other ones we've heard so far, is that most of them include like shadow figures and stuff.
Yeah,
and shadow figures are so interesting because I'm a personal believer that they're real.
I believe it.
But it's so weird because like one, your eyes can play tricks on you really well with shadowy figures. I think it's one of the most common ways people see ghosts, to be honest. Like from what we've talked about, and like sleep paralysis too. I just think it's interesting how it's like shadow figures and creatures. I just think it's such an interesting phenomenon that people go through. Like I just think it's so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like it's also interesting. Like we have only like a certain amount of stories here from like people that are in our lives, like that is submitted to us, and it's interesting that a majority of these are sleep paralysis or like shadow figures,
demons.
So like you mentioning that like shadow figures are the most common way that people see ghosts, like it makes so much sense because we're seeing how many people from like a small poll of people that we know, and we're seeing this many shadow people. Like,
and I think there's like definitely a world where like what you see is like true. Like I think everyone who's done these like confessions is like completely telling the truth.
I believe,
but I feel like there's definitely been times, at least in my life, where I think I've had tricks played on my eyes before, and it's scary. It's scary how your brain will like communicate a dark silhouette into like a figure or something, like especially in a dark space. I don't know. I just shadow figures are such an interesting thing to me. Well, we should do like a big episode on them.
We should, and it's so interesting like going more into it too, because I feel like you've experienced it and I've experienced it. I feel like whenever I've seen shadow figures or had like the sleep paralysis, like my brain is like looking at it, trying to understand like what
am I
it
looking?
is.
Yeah.
And it's like, my brain is like, I know what I'm looking at. So I'm
Yeah.
like, why can't I figure out why this is here?
Exactly. And then like sometimes it's human, sometimes like it could be like a little more animalistic. Like it's so
Yeah.
interesting every time. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so our next story comes from Rosemary.
Queen.
So, I got super into paranormal shows and stuff in middle school and was determined to visit some of these places. I watched this English show called Most Haunted, and they would do live overnight lock-ins at haunted places. And they did one here in the US at Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia. I've heard of this place. I think maybe I've seen this episode, to be honest.
Ooh, fun.
So the summer before 8th grade, my dad and I took a trip to Philly, and I convinced him to let me go see it. It was such a cool place. I mean, horrible history, but exactly what you picture a haunted 100-plus prison to look like. We didn't do a tour or anything, just walked around ourselves. I kept getting weird feelings of my hair getting played with. And when we were walking around in certain places, then when we were in a ward or cell lock, I forgot what they call them, but my dad, who was on the other side of the hallway, kept saying, "Rose, stop it."
Oh,
That's crazy.
What was happening?
That's crazy.
Rosemary.
I want to pause for just like 2 seconds with that.
Yeah.
That's crazy because like demons love, ghosts, whatever. They love to like mimic voices of like loved ones, like family.
Yeah,
things
like
that.
mimic
That's
or
crazy.
just like mess with you.
Oh my God. So meanwhile, I was on the other side of the hall and he was starting to get frustrated and then turned around and asked me if I was tugging on his arm.
Absolutely not.
I said no, and then it happened again while we were standing there talking. He said he kept feeling like a kid was tugging on his arm, and it happened multiple times.
Oh my
Which that makes
gosh.
sense because it was the summer before 8th grade, so she was younger.
Still young, yeah.
Now my dad is not a paranormal person. He went there to humor me, but even he started to get freaked out by this. He said he felt odd. And then out of nowhere, I got this sudden pull on my ponytail.
Rosemary.
That's crazy.
Absolutely not. This thing is like really messing with you to the fact that like
Yeah.
it's doing all these different things like physical.
Just like little pokes and tugs.
yeah,
And like,
pulling your hair.
just like enough to really get under your skin.
Oh.
Like my head physically got yanked backwards. And my dad was like, what the heck? And then it happened again. And while my head was falling backwards from the tug, I got pushed really hard and stumbled forwards. So it was almost like trying to disorient her.
Yeah.
It sounds like. That's crazy. Both me and my dad were freaked out. So we hurried to the end of the hallway. Here we were in a cell block section that housed the female inmates. And there were pictures of kids who were born or had moms that were inmates tugging on guards' arms to let them back into their mom's cells.
That's so scary that you guys were already feeling the tugging of these arms, and now you have like photographic evidence to be like, okay, this is something that was
That's
like actively going on,
crazy.
and they had like actual children.
I think it goes back to what you just said on the last case we just had there was just like the whole idea of like repeating history, like
Yeah.
the doctor like wandering around like thinking maybe it sounds like the kids were just like repeating history or like
Yeah.
thinking that they were still in that state of mind or something.
Like the spirits don't
That's
realize that time has
crazy.
passed. Like they're just living in their own timeline
Yeah.
while our timeline is existing.
I'm so curious to know if it's like these kids lived out like their entire adult lives and like are now rinse and repeating something that was traumatic or if it was like something else.
Yeah.
I find that very interesting. And they said the woman inmates used to complain and cut their hair short because the guards would pull on their hair to move if they weren't walking fast enough.
Oh my gosh.
Needless to say, both my dad and I were ready to go after that. Years later, my mom and I did a paranormal lock-in overnight at the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in West Virginia with a paranormal team. I was so excited. During the night, we passed the old kitchen area. They said it was the kitchen for when soldiers preoccupied the area. They said it was best to not go in there because whatever spirit was in there could get mean. Ooh. I naturally, after what happened in Philly, wanted to go in and see if I could get it going or something. I got about 3 feet in the door and got really warm, and my legs started burning. I came out and rolled up my pant legs and had 3 scratches down the back
Again
of
with
my
the
leg.
Scratches.
They burned so bad. If I can find the photos of it, I'll send them to your way. We'll have to see if we got those. That'd be
Yeah.
great to put in. Later on in the tour, I kept feeling like something was running into me. I don't know how to explain it. It just kept bumping into me whenever I tried to walk. I only told my mom this, no one else in the group. About 20 minutes into being into this area while this was happening, the historian of the building who was in the group said we were in the one area where there was a notorious patient in a wheelchair who would bump into people if they wanted attention.
That's crazy.
Later on in the night, we went into another area, and as soon as I walked in, I felt odd. I was suddenly getting very weak and clammy. I kept feeling like there was a small child standing right behind me, like before.
Girl, things are literally getting attached to you, or like they're gravitating towards you.
Just like common themes happening. I couldn't shake the sense of being followed and that someone was standing right there. I was feeling weak and just drained of all emotions. They ended up making me go sit down in the break room area we had in the lobby. And later on, I found out that we were in the children's area where I started to get sick. And there was a child spirit there that would latch on to adults.
Oh my gosh.
It took hours to shake that feeling. So weird.
Girl, that is all so crazy. First off,
That's crazy.
why are things like literally gravitating towards you to the
Yeah.
amount that like they're pulling your hair, they're scratching you, they're
Yeah.
like draining your energy? That's really scary.
Honestly, I wasn't sure where the like second story was like gonna like meld into like the first one for a second. So I was kind of like, oh, did I like, am I onto a different thing now?
Yeah.
But it sounds like they are like a common thread, especially with the kids and the tugging and everything.
I would
It's
like to know
crazy.
like if she's gone back, like Rosemary, I want to know if you've gone back to like haunted
Yeah.
places, or if like this was your like, okay, that's enough for me type situation.
I feel like there's always like a line for some people where they're like, this is my last straw. I can't do this anymore.
Well, I feel like also you might have some like not like tapped in like psychic abilities, because
You could,
I feel
yeah.
like you were really like honed in on like these specific things that were able to be like fact checked, like the patient in the wheelchair that bumps into people, like you were feeling this like bumping
Yeah.
into you, like getting your hair pulled by like spirits that
Yeah.
would pull hair, getting like arms grabbed by
Yeah. I think that's
so weird.
I think that's the craziest. I think this like the like it's so interesting that everything like that was happening with you has to do with that, like some type of physicality. And it's
Yeah.
interesting because like it feels like they didn't even want to hurt you though.
Yeah.
It sounds like they wanted like attention or
they
something.
were just interested in like
That's
maybe
so
they knew you
weird.
could like pick up on their energy, so they were messing with
Yeah.
you. I don't know, girl, that's crazy.
Yeah, if like even like all things considered, like if like let's say like in a world where ghosts aren't real, but they are.
They are. They're real.
They're real.
Yeah.
It's still a crazy coincidence to happen to you in multiple places
Yeah.
of like that phenomenon of like physicality. That's so weird. That's
I
so
believe
crazy.
you. That's nuts.
I can't get over that the things that happened to you too were like based in history too. Like like you like these things happened to you and then you found out later on it was like fact checked.
That's so
that's the worst part.
scary.
That's the worst
Because then you're
part.
like, you're not crazy. Like this stuff was happening.
Yeah. That's like there was this one thing there was this one case we did. It was a while ago, but it was about this girl. I think it was a mini mystery or something, but it was like this girl was like in a park and she like felt like weird like ghost things happening to her, and then like historically it came out that like the things that were happening to her were based on like a tragedy that happened there. That might have been in like one of the past episodes, like one of the ghost ones.
Yeah,
but
I don't
that's
remember,
so
but that sounds
weird.
interesting.
We'll have to go back and look. Maybe we could do
Yeah.
something with that. That was crazy.
No, thank you
Wow.
for sharing. That was nuts. And I hope
Rosemary, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I hope
out of
you delve more into that if you feel comfortable and safe doing so, because that's gnarly.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
Thank you. So our next story is by Lindsay.
Is this our last one?
I think we have
2 more?
Let's see. She has 2 stories. So if you want to read her second story,
You can do both of them because her thing was long.
okay.
Sorry, just wanted to make sure we knew before we...
Yeah,
cut.
no worries.
Okay.
So this is from Lindsay. I was 8 to 9 months pregnant with Edith at the time, and we went to the Mercer Estate in Eastern PA and did a tour through this space, and we got to the space where I was told was a man's bedroom, and the tour guide said that this is normally where people would feel his presence in the room. Other people began joking like, oh, not me, because they weren't feeling anything.
Yeah.
Then we walked further into the sitting room, and I suddenly could not continue. I felt like I was going to faint. It was a hot day, and they had to escort me to the lounge and get me some water. So yeah, people are like known to get attachments whenever they start to feel these different symptoms of like they're starting to feel like a lack of energy, like they're about to faint. Like sometimes that can mean something's trying to attach to them. So she and I had like joked that what if something was trying to like attach to her.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, or attached to her baby. Like, I don't know. And then we were joking, like, what if her baby's personality, like, was just been a possessed thing this whole time. The second story that Lindsay had said was, last Halloween, I set up an ofrenda and I put a picture of my husband's dad who passed away many years ago. And one night I was sitting there and it was so clear that he was there with me in that space.
What?
And looking at me from his portrait. And I had a good talk with him. So I felt like he was definitely listening, and it was only during that period that it felt like he was looking right at me. So this one's like more of a shorter story, but like she said that like she had like sat and talked to him all night. And the thing is, like, when I was asking her like more about it, it was more of like she could like sense that he was
like around.
Yeah, like the answers like sort of like came to her, like when she was speaking to him, it was as if like she could
feel
like
a gut reaction.
Yeah, like
something.
She understood what he was
crazy.
saying back, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. I mean, like, I think that's like how like most people like feel like presences or like get answers.
Yeah,
like
it's just like an understanding.
I think that's like a big thing. Like people will tell you otherwise, but like I think that's how like most like stuff in the Bible and like Christianity happens too. They're like, God spoke to me. Like sometimes it doesn't mean God literally spoke to you.
Yeah,
it's like you get this gut instinct feeling or something like that.
Yeah,
so I think that's interesting to like have happened to her.
Like
that's
you just
crazy.
like sense it and feel it.
I think it's crazy she did it last Halloween too, because that's around like the time of like Day of the Dead. Like I think because Day of the Dead's like a week long. Like it's like a week long holiday.
That's what I thought. I was talking to people about it at work today. I want to understand more about it, because I think there's also a specific day that like you can set up an ofrenda for your pets, and like your pets can come back to you too.
It's October 27th, I think.
That's what I thought. Some people at work didn't know what I was talking about, and I was like, no, I think it already happened. And they're like, they were saying it was on Halloween, but I think they were misunderstanding what I was saying.
Yeah, Day of the Dead stuff is like throughout the entire week, it said.
Yeah.
The pets come to visit on the first day.
Oh, cool.
And stuff. Yeah, it's really cute.
I love that.
I would love to do, maybe we could still do it technically, but I would love to do a deep dive on Day of the Dead sometime. That would be really fun.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
But yes.
So
that's all the stories that we have for you for this Halloween special today.
Yes.
We would like to thank everyone who submitted a story to us.
They were all fantastic.
They were all fantastic and so
great.
Scary. We're sorry that you had to go through that.
Otherwise, though, thanks for the content. No,
yes, thank you for the content. Sorry you struggled a little bit, but...
Would you mind saying if you had a favorite or something that was like interesting to you throughout all of them? Like, what were you thinking?
I feel like Lexi's with the phone flying across the room.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. Like that's something that physical happened.
Yeah.
I liked Grizzly's dad.
I loved Grizzly's dad.
The imagery of that creature crouched, really.
I thought that was really excellent, because then that like melds into Emily's second story with sleep paralysis. I thought those were both really, really interesting.
Yeah. All the sleep paralysis correlations were very satisfying.
Yeah. I loved everything that happened with Rosemary's too. Like how they both like correlated perfectly with each other.
Yeah.
And like those attachments. I thought it was really interesting. But everyone had really great stories.
You guys did. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm definitely not going to sleep right tonight, but that's totally okay.
That's okay with us.
That's totally fine.
And if you have any other stories, anyone who submitted or wants to submit, please submit to us. We will take them. We will do something with them.
Just message us on @themysteryfiles_ on Instagram. We'll get back to you, or if you want to message us wherever you have access to us.
And we'll do this again. Like, please, we would love to get your guys' support with that.
So thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you're having a wonderful Halloween season and you have a wonderful Halloween day.
Yes.
We hope that you come back and listen to us soon again.
Please give us a like, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, follow us, @themysteryfiles_. The TikTok's called The Mystery Files Podcast.
Yes, it is.
Please help us out. You've given us so much opportunities to grow. We just reached over 250 subscribers on YouTube, which was awesome. Everyone reviewing us has been giving us a really good rating on the streaming services, and that really helps us way more than like you would think it would.
Yeah.
So please just give us as much as you can, and we would love to hear more stories from you guys. I would love to do this again.
Yes, this was so much fun. So we hope to see you guys soon. Thank you so much. But I guess we almost forgot on our Halloween special.
I was worried for a second.
On our silly little Halloween special. You guys have submitted all these stories, but I guess the truth's behind it all.
will forever remain a mystery. Yeah.
Alrighty,
Yay.
friends. Goodbye.
We'll see you guys next time. Have a happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Bye.